All right, so it looks like someone's been doing some serious research on Hyderabad.
Yeah.
India, City of Pearls, we've got history books, travel blogs, even restaurant review. I mean, someone is definitely ready for an adventure.
Well, yeah, and maybe they're hungry. I mean, what's interesting is how much this city just seems to hold, you know?
Yeah.
It's like this time capsule, but it's also like a fast forward button all in one.
Yeah.
You've got centuries-old forts standing tall next to these gleaming tech companies like Google and Microsoft.
Yeah, it's amazing. Talk about contrasts. So basically what we're going to do today is figure out what makes Hyderabad so unique. We're going to kind of wander through its royal past, maybe get lost in the aromas of their food scene, which, by the way, sounds amazing. And we'll definitely touch on how it became what it is today. You know, Cyberabad, a modern tech hub.
Right. And speaking of royal past, we have to talk about the Nizams. Just imagine rulers so wealthy that their palaces rivaled anything in Europe. And their influence on Hyderabad is everywhere. I mean, you see it woven into the very fabric of the city, everything from the architecture to the delicate flavors of their food.
Okay, so I'm picturing myself strolling through a palace straight out of a history book, right? And then, bam! I'm suddenly surrounded by cutting-edge tech startups. It's wild.
Right. It's like stepping through a portal. And that's the beauty of Hyderabad. You can find yourself exploring a 16th century fort like Golconda 1 minute. You know, it's just ingenious acoustics. Like you can clap your hands at the entrance gate, and you can hear it almost a kilometer away.
Wait, seriously, how is that even possible?
Well, the architects, they were really smart about it. They placed domes and arches all throughout the fort to create this awesome sound amplification effect. It was a way to communicate quickly, you know, especially during war.
That is incredible. Absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, but back to those palaces you mentioned. We've got the Tramahala Palace in the sources. Tell me, is it as impressive as it sounds?
Oh, it's more than impressive. It's a glimpse into like a bygone era of luxury. I mean, just think chandeliers and marble courtyards and even a vintage car collection that belonged to the Nizams. Like you can practically hear the echoes of their lavish parties.
I'm already picturing myself there trying to pick out my favorite vintage car. But all this exploring is making me hungry. Speaking of food, we cannot talk about Hyderabad without diving into their legendary biryani. And I mean the fact that there are over 1,400 biryani restaurants in this city. Expert speaker, what does that tell you about their food scene?
Well, it tells me that food is not just like sustenance in Hyderabad. It's an art form. You know, it's a passion. And that's not even counting all the other culinary delights they offer. You mentioned mirchi kasalan in your notes.
I did, yeah. It just sounded interesting. What is it exactly?
Well, it's this spicy, tangy curry made with green chilies and peanuts. It's a Hyderabadi specialty, and it's usually served alongside the biryani. You know, it just adds a whole other layer of flavor to the meal.
I'm sensing a theme here. Intricate architecture, rich history, and food bursting with flavor. But what about something a little sweeter? I saw something about Irani chai and Osmania biscuits in the sources.
Oh, those are classics, yeah. Irani chai is like this strong, milky tea, and is often paired with Osmani biscuits, which are these buttery, slightly sweet treats. Just imagine yourself sitting in a traditional Irani cafe, sipping this fragrant chai and enjoying a crunchy biscuit.
Yeah.
The Hyderabad experience you won't forget.
Okay, I'm sold. Irani chai and Osmania biscuits are officially on my must-try list. But, you know, besides biryani and palaces and tea, what else does Hyderabad have to offer? I mean, the city is clearly brimming with things to do, and I'm ready to discover more. All right, so let's say, you know, you decide to book that ticket to Hyderabad. What's the best way to experience all these incredible sights and sounds?
Well, the city is like this really vibrant mix of old and new, so you've got a lot of options. I mean, you can hop on the modern metro system, you could weave through the streets in one of those colorful auto rickshaws, or you could even take a horse-drawn carriage for a really old-world feel.
I am all for that horse-drawn carriage ride. But speaking of old and new, how does Hyderabad's booming tech scene, you know, the Cyberabad, fit into the picture? Is it just like a completely separate world, or does it blend in with the more traditional side of the city?
You know, it's actually fascinating. You'll find these really sleek, modern office buildings right alongside like historical landmarks. It's kind of a visual reminder of how Hyderabad is always evolving, you know?
Yeah.
Embracing the future while still honoring the past.
So it's not just a city of contrasts, it's a city where those contrasts, you know, coexist, and they just create this really unique energy.
Exactly. And that energy really extends to the people, too. You'll find tech entrepreneurs sharing chai with traditional artisans, students discussing the latest apps while strolling through, like, ancient bazaars. It's a true melting pot of ideas and perspectives.
That's what makes exploring a new place so exciting. But let's get back to our hypothetical trip. If someone wants to experience Hyderabad like a local, what are some must-dos that go beyond like the typical tourist spots?
Well, for a really authentic experience, I'd recommend a walk through Lad Bazaar. It's sensory overload in the best way possible. I mean, you're talking a riot of colors and fragrances and sounds. You'll find everything there. Shimmering bangles, exquisite pearls, traditional perfumes, and handcrafted textiles.
Okay, hold on. You're talking pearls, bangles, perfumes, all in one place. It sounds like a shopper's paradise.
Uh-huh.
But is this one of those places where, like, haggling is expected? I'm not always the best at that.
Oh, haggling is definitely part of the game at Lad Bazaar. It's a friendly back and forth, like a dance between buyer and seller. Don't be afraid to try your hand at it. You might be surprised at the deals you score.
All right. I'm ready to channel my inner bargain hunter, but after a day of exploring palaces and haggling and bustling markets, I'm going to need a break.
What are those peaceful escapes we talked about earlier? Places like Ananthagiri Hills or Hussain Sagar Lake? Yeah, those are perfect options. Hussain Sagar Lake is right in the heart of the city. It's a great place to just unwind. Imagine you're taking a boat ride. You know, the gentle breeze in your hair, the city skyline reflected in the water. It's like a moment of tranquility amidst the urban buzz.
And what about those hills? Are we talking like serious hiking trails or more of a leisurely stroll?
Ananthagiri Hills offers a little something for everyone. You can choose a challenging hike, through lush forests, or you could opt for a relaxed walk, taking in the scenic views and enjoying the fresh air.
Okay. I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about it. But speaking of fresh air, I have to ask, what's it like to breathe in Hyderabad? Is it one of those cities where the air quality is, a concern?
Like a lot of major cities, Hyderabad does face, air quality challenges. It's something to be mindful of, especially if you have respiratory sensitivities. Yeah. Checking the air quality index before you head out is always a good idea.
Good point. It's always best to be prepared. But overall, it sounds like Hyderabad offers this really great balance between the hustle and bustle of city life and those more peaceful pockets of nature. We've covered so much ground already. Palaces and biryani and tech hubs and tranquil lakes. But I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface of what Hyderabad has to offer, right?
You're absolutely right. This city is full of hidden gems just waiting to be discovered. And that's part of the magic of travel, isn't it? Those unexpected encounters, those moments that just take your breath away and really leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk hidden gems. What are some of those off-the-beaten-path experiences that our listener might not find in a typical travel guide?
Well, if you're looking for like a really unique cultural experience, I would highly recommend the Qutb Shahi tombs. They're these majestic structures that are the final resting place of the Qutb Shahi dynasty, who ruled the region before the Nizams. And the architecture is amazing. It's the beautiful blend of Persian, Indian, and Pathan styles with intricate carvings, soaring minarets, and these beautifully landscaped gardens.
It sounds like a place where history and art really collide to create something special.
It really is. And if you're in the mood for something a little more whimsical, there's the Sudakars Museum. This place is basically a testament to one man's passion and creativity.
Okay, you have my attention. What's so special about this car museum?
Well, instead of showcasing like classic or luxury cars, this museum has a collection of handmade vehicles that were all designed and built by this local mechanic named K. Sudakar. We're talking about cars shaped like a stiletto heel, a handbag, a cricket bat, even a giant burger.
Wait, a burger car? Seriously?
Yeah, it's true. It's become kind of a local legend. And while these cars might not be street legal, they're definitely a testament to the ingenuity and like out-of-the-box thinking that you find in Hyderabad.
I love it. It's those quirky, unexpected finds that really make a trip memorable. But let's say our listener only has a limited time in Hyderabad. If they could only choose one experience, one thing that really captures the essence of the city, what would you recommend?
That's a tough one. But if I had to choose, I'd say spend an evening exploring the Charminar and its surrounding area.
The iconic Charminar. We talked about it earlier, those 4 towering minarets, a bustling marketplace.
Exactly. Start by just taking in the grandeur of the Charminar itself. Imagine yourself standing at its base, looking up at those intricately carved arches, feeling the energy of the city all around you. And then maybe wander through the narrow lanes of Lad Bazaar with all those vibrant displays of bangles and pearls and traditional crafts. As the sun starts to set find yourself a rooftop cafe and savor a cup of Irani chai while watching the city lights come alive. To me, that's the perfect Hyderabad experience.
Beautifully said. It's a blend of history and culture and those everyday moments that make a place come alive. It sounds like the kind of experience that stays with you long after you've left.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe our listener will discover their own hidden gem along the way.
Yeah.
A place or an experience that speaks to them personally. That's the beauty of exploration. It's a journey of discovery, both outward and inward.
So well said. To our listener who's been dreaming of Hyderabad, we hope this deep dive has given you a taste of what awaits. A city where ancient history meets modern innovation, where flavors explode on your palate, where hidden gems are waiting to be uncovered. It's a place that invites you to explore, to discover, to get lost in its vibrant tapestry. And who knows, maybe we'll bump into you there sharing a plate of biryani and swapping stories of our own Hyderabad adventures. Until next time, happy travels.